feel like working with the composer one-on-one, and especially it being a piece composed especially for us and especially for our town, you get to play it exactly how the composer wants you to play it, and you really capture the essence of how the piece is supposed to be.
Good. Much improved.
The Williams Orchestra commissioned a piece from composer Dan Locklair, based out of Winston-Salem, and he wrote this piece specifically for this orchestra and this group of students. So at the beginning of the school year, I contacted him with this suggestion, this idea that we write a piece about Burlington, especially it being the 125th birthday of Burlington.
With any new piece, there's always a world premiere, which is the very first performance. And when the composer is alive, it's very important, I think, for the composer to really give some feedback to hopefully make the performance as close as possible to what the composer has in his mind's ear.
We talked a little bit, we got local historians involved, talked about what Burlington had been and what it's trying to be now, and he put that into a musical context for this orchestra.
This is definitely like a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
We're not just reading the stuff on the paper, the dynamics. We're actually getting it from him. We're hearing exactly what he wants. You can't get that from normal pieces we play.
There's no one who's ever played this piece before. We're the first people who get to play it, and it kind of makes you feel special because you have this piece that was written especially for your group and for your town, and you get to go and premiere it. So I think that's a really awesome experience.
I think it's a great way to see your community through music, and I think everybody will have a different thing in their mind of what the community's about and what the music relates to them.
When I started to think about what the piece would be titled, it seemed that there were a lot of muses that had been a part of the history of this community and continue to be. Muses, of course, we think of in terms of just musical things, but muses are really the voices that help shape what it is, what it's become, and what it will be in the future. And it seemed a very appropriate title to me, Burlington Muses. But second violins respond back to cello.
Especially because this is a piece just for our town. People can really see how cool it can be just to work with directors and work with composers, and I feel like my life would be a lot different if I hadn't discovered orchestra.
I'm especially excited to announce the next piece we're going to perform because it's been almost a lifelong dream of mine to really feature the Williams Orchestra. I am a product of this orchestra, played here on this stage growing up, and I know many of you in the audience were involved with the Williams Orchestra in some way, shape, or form as well. And I think it's just such a special thing that we have here in our community and something that deserves to be highlighted. And all of these students put so much work into it, and they deserve to have a piece written for them as well. The piece Burlington Muses was composed by Dan Locklair from Winston-Salem. And he and I worked with local historians and musicians and people who really knew the culture of Burlington to create this piece and to bring Burlington in some sort of musical form to our community. So the piece you're going to hear has two movements. The first one is called Heritage, and it's based on a dance called a pavane, which is a little bit stately, a little bit more serious. And that's supposed to reflect the rich tradition and history we have in Burlington. Lots of textiles, the railroad, lots of things that brought life and vibrancy to our community. And in recent years, Burlington has had, as everybody else, to transform and to kind of modernize with the times. So the second movement, Transformations, takes some themes and melodic material and ideas from that first movement and puts it in a livelier context. So you'll hear the first movement quoted in the second movement. So it is my great privilege to present the world premiere of Burlington Muses.
holding the dotted quarter quite long enough, right? That's our problem. 161. Yeah, let's play it now with your bow. Ready, and 1. Yeah, you're cutting the dotted quarter just a little bit too short. Ba, da, 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 da. So hold it just a fraction of a second longer. Ready, and 1. Ba, da, 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 ba, da. Good, do it one more time. Prove it wasn't luck. Ready, and 1. Much better. Everybody all together, this is going to be, what's a good spot? 144? Oh, let's go back to the same spot, 139, where we started before, 139. Ready, and